Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the NFL, claims his Cowboys teammate Micah Parsons after his stunning season. He's going to have a big payday coming soon. The best receiver in the NFL, Parsons said on his podcast. Not top 5, not top 3, he's top 2, and not 2. He probably should be Offensive Player of the Year, Parsons continued. CeeDee Lamb, congratulations brother. You're truly showing why you're the number one. There's a lot of naysayers. I remember Richard Sherman earlier in the year said he wasn't even a top 5 receiver. A lot of people said he couldn't be a number one when Amari Cooper was gone, Parsons stated. CeeDee is still here. He just continues to get better. And he's having the year of his life and he's going to have a big payday coming soon, Parsons concluded. The linebacker insisted, "We know he's clean. Lamb is having the best year of his career, with 1,651 receiving yards through 16 games. Lamb is second in the NFL, only behind Tyreek Hill, in the statistic, although he's played one more game than the Miami Dolphins sensation." After being selected in the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft, Lamb has consistently garnered more receiving yards every season. Lamb has been a huge part of the Cowboys' offensive successes this season, with the team in prime position to host a playoff game. Should the Cowboys defeat their arch-rival, the 4-12 Washington Commanders on Sunday, they'll be the number 2 seed in the NFC. Lamb is expected to be in contention for several postseason awards, including NFL Offensive Player of the Year, with steep competition. Dalvin Cook and Frank Clark are 2 former Pro Bowlers the Cowboys could have a chance to sign. There are a few intriguing veterans that have become available in recent days. The Seahawks released 3-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Frank Clark. Like Wilson, Clark also has Super Bowl experience with Kansas City. The Jets released running back Dalvin Cook, who is now subject to waivers. It will be worth watching to see if Dallas kicks the tires on either player. The Dallas Cowboys could be among the best fits for a recently released 4-time Pro Bowl running back. As noted by Sporting News' Jacob Kamenker, the Cowboys are among 4 best fit destinations for Cook following his release from the New York Jets. Kamenker's main argument for the potential addition of Cook stems from Dallas' lack of efficiency with Tony Pollard as the lead running back for the first time in his career. Following the release of Ezekiel Elliott, Pollard is averaging a career-low 4.0 yards per carry this season after averaging 5.2 yards per carry last season in his first Pro Bowl campaign. The Cowboys threw their trust into Tony Pollard during the 2023 NFL offseason and moved on from veteran starter Ezekiel Elliott to do so, writes Kamenker. The results haven't been great, as Pollard is averaging a career-worst 4.0 yards per carry and has ceded some of his workload to Rico Dowdle in recent weeks. Why the Cowboys could sign Dalvin Cook is noted by Kamenker. Pollard has actually ceded the workload in a few recent games, most notable during the team's Week 14 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Pollard carried the ball 16 times for 59 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, in comparison to Dowdle's 12 carries for 46 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, for 1 touchdown during the game. Dowdle also carried the ball 12 times for 79 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown in a win over the New York Giants back in November, while Pollard had 15 carries for 55 yards. However, Dowdle missed the team's Week 17 win over the Detroit Lions due to an ankle injury. Pollard carried the ball 16 times for just 49 yards on 3.1 yards per carry. While Cook has been one of the least efficient running backs in the NFL this season, he's averaging a career-low 3.2 yards per carry. Some of that has to do with the Jets' stagnant offensive situation. Furthermore, Cook's inconsistent playing time as a result of playing a backup role to Breece Hall hasn't helped matters. Despite being active for the team's game against the Cleveland Browns in Week 17, Cook didn't play a single offensive snap. During the week prior against the Washington Commanders, Cook played in just 5 snaps. As Kamenker notes, Cook could fill the Dowdle role, and owner Jerry Jones has an affinity for signing big names. With Dowdle now banged up, Cook could be a logical replacement for him, writes Kamenker. He would likely fare better behind Dallas' strong offensive line and could help take some touches away from Pollard while offering a bit more explosive playmaking ability than Dowdle. The Cowboys have been known to hunt for big names under Jerry Jones, so an opportunity to add Cook on the cheap may interest the Cowboys enough to pull the trigger. Dalvin Cook previously intrigued by idea of joining Cowboys. It's worth noting that when Cook was available at the trade deadline, he was intrigued of the idea of joining the Cowboys. Via ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Cook was intrigued by potentially playing for Baltimore or Dallas, I'm told, though neither team ever really entertained the perceived positional need at the deadline, Fowler wrote back in November. Cook just wants to play, and maybe New York can still help him with that. With Cook seeking to play for a Super Bowl contender and the Cowboys have an obviously need for a complementary back next to Pollard, the signing makes perfect sense. Cowboys reuniting with La'el Collins in surprise free agency signing, report. The Dallas Cowboys are bringing back offensive tackle La'el Collins in a new roster move, reuniting with the 8-year NFL veteran. Collins spent the 2022 season with the Cincinnati Bengals but has been a free agent since mid-September of 2023. Heads were first turned when NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport first reported that the player and team were meeting on January 2. About 6 hours later, he followed up with the report that Collins is signing to the Cowboys practice squad. La'el Collins is signing to the Cowboys practice squad, per me and Tom Pelissero. Back where it all started, Rapoport wrote on X. Collins started the 2023 season on the Bengals PUP list but was then released on September 12. He has not visited or signed with any teams since then, but his visit clearly went well in Dallas. At one point, Collins was one of the highest paid players on the Cowboys roster. However, declining performances, a suspension, and the rise of current starting tackle Terrence Steele led to him being benched and then eventually released. Obviously, the Cowboys don't expect Collins to play a critical role as a practice squad signing. But he is important insurance in case Dallas experiences bad injury luck. La'el Collins' unique arrival in Dallas. Coming out of LSU, Collins was considered a first-round talent. However, he was questioned by police during a murder investigation and his draft stock dwindled. His agents then threatened that he would sit out the 2015 season if teams attempted to draft him in the 4th round or onward. After not being selected, he signed a fully guaranteed UDFA deal with the Cowboys. Due to injury, Collins was quickly thrust into a starting job. He started 11 games as a left guard and quickly proved that he was ready to make the jump. Injury severely hampered his second season in 2016, but was then shifted and named the starting right tackle in 2017. Over the next 3 seasons, he started 47 of 48 possible games at right tackle. After solidifying himself as one of the NFL's better tackles, the Cowboys handed him a 5-year, $50 million contract that they would end up regretting. La'el Collins leaves Cowboys, struggles with Bengals. Due to a serious car accident, Collins missed the entirety of the 2020 NFL season. Then, he was suspended for failing an NFL drug test after Week 1 in 2021. Collins appealed the suspension in court but lost and had his suspension increased to 5 games. In his last season in Dallas, he started 10 games and played on both sides of the line. But by the end of the year, he was benched in favor of Steele and then was put on the trade block the following offseason. With little interest in a deal, the Cowboys had to release him from his $50 million deal. Even in 2023, the Cowboys are still paying for that contract. Collins' dead cap hits from that deal cost Dallas $4.93 million in 2022 and $8.17 million in 2023. Considering that Collins is signing a practice squad deal, he'll be receiving a veteran minimum salary, which means he'll be due $1.165 million for his services.